Hey guys, it's me Kate again. So this video will be my April wrap-up. I actually read over 100 books. So let's begin. So the first book that I read was Awaken by Sky. Malora gave it 2 out of 5 stars. I don't remember what it was about. Then I reread A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This is third book in A Court of Thorns and Roses series, in which we are following Feyre, who one day while hunting for her family accidentally kills a Fey wolf, and then his boss comes and takes her away to his court. Then we have the Awakening of Ren Crown by Anne Zoel, which I gave 1 of 5 stars. Then we have Bailey and the Bad Boy by Arlinda, which I also gave 1 of 5 stars. Then we have Cleaning Her Beasts by Diacool, which I also gave 1 out of 5 stars. Then I read Alpha Turn by Kibby Allen, also 1 out of 5 stars. I don't even remember what these books were about. Then I read Austin's... I can't read. I think it's Boxer by Esther Holland, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's a male-male romance between a boxer and another guy. Then we have Dark Protector by Gary Glenn and Evelyn Page, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars, 4 out of 5 stars, but I don't remember what it's about. Then we have Bound by Two Bears by Galax, I think, which he gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's paranormal male-male romance between 2 bear shifters and a human, if I remember correctly. Then I read Boys with Toys by Sky McCoy, which is also male-male romance, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Clay's Hope by Melissa Hegg, I think, which I gave 1 out of 5 stars. Then I read Dating Nashville by Anne Marie Carver and Michelle McQueen, which is a male-male romance, which I gave 1 of 5 stars. Then I read Alpha Wolf Defender by Amelia Hartley, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I don't even remember what it's about. Then I read Body by Shay Bellick, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I reread The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I just wanted something fun to read, so, and in this one we're following a PhD candidate who told her friend that she's on a date while she was working in a lab, and her friend is coming, and she basically kisses the first guy she sees, who ends up being one of the professors at the university, and they decide to fake date. Then we have Absolution, I think, by Lisa Casey, which is the final book in Pillars of Magic Dominion series. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's a series of male-male romances in which we are following a witch, a vampire, and some others. And then I read the novella in that series, Raising Cain, which I also gave 5 to 5 stars. Then I figured out that I didn't put one book in, and that's Court of Frost and Sunlight by Sarah J. Maas, which was a reread. This is a novella in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Then I reread Girl Online by Zoe Sag. In this series, this first book in a trilogy, I think, in which we are following a girl named Penny, who is a blogger, and one day after particularly embarrassing incident in school, she decides to go with her with her parents to New York to the wedding they're planning, where she meets Noah and it's their romance. At this point I don't know what I'm saying. This way. Then I forgot one book, but I reread God's Condemned Paulina by Sanya Pollock and gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It's basically we're following a girl named Paulina P, who's writing about her day-to-day life in the form of a diary. Then I read True Blue by Melissa Poiser, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It's a romance between a guy who, after his mom dies, is left in charge of his siblings who are a lot younger than him, and the girl he meets in a shop while trying to find the things for them. Then I reread Heir to Curse and Recipe for a Curse by Lisa Casey, which are first 2 books in Heir to the Curse series, in which we are following basically this guy was left the house by his by this woman who basically raised him, and apparently the house is cursed. So we're following him and his life there, along with Ellen, who lives and works at the property. Then I reread Stalked by Shadows by Lisa Casey, which is first book in Simply Crafty series, in which we are following a guy named Alex, who is a former military, and he's suffering from PTSD and is struggling to find a job. And then his twin brother basically finds him a job as a bodyguard for this guy who runs tours of haunted areas of New Orleans, and it's romance between Alex and Micah, who is technically his boss. And I also reread Marked by Shadows, Possessed by Shadows, and Conventional Shadows, which are next 2 books and the novella in Simple Crafty series. And then finally, where is it? I read Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard, which is 4th book in Red Queen series, in which we are following Mara, who is a red, and in this world reds do not have powers and silvers do. And one day while working, Mara finds out she actually does have powers, which leads her into this political plotline, which leads her to this book, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read volumes 1 through 6 of Red Queens by Curtis J. Webb, I think, and some others, all of which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. That is a comic book graphic novel series in which we are following battle maidens who, after getting in one bar fight too many, end up being sent to these missions in exchange of getting into prison. Then I read volumes 2, the rest 2, 3, 4 and 5 of Saga, which I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. In this one we're following two people, one from a planet and the other one from the moon orbiting. Oh, actually I read all volumes of Saga, my bad. And other one from the moon orbiting that planet, who are at war with each other. Basically they fell in love and had a child, and now their child is narrating their story. Then I read volumes 2, 3, 4 and 5 of Monsters by Magical Readathon, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. That's a comic book series following basically this monster and her life. Then I read Would You Like to Be a Family by, I cannot pronounce the name of the author, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's I think one-shot manga in which you are following this guy who is basically a loner, and he starts hanging out with one of his colleagues, and they end up falling in love, and that colleague is left in charge of a child of their friends, and basically it's the kid is hilarious. Then I read Gender by Meg John Baker, which is a graphic novel which I DNF'd. It's all about gender. Then I read volume 1 of Gold Events by Hope Larson, which I rated 4 out of 5 stars. It's about Gold Events, who works at this hotel as the person who takes the cards of the visitors. And basically, in her off time, she solves mysteries. Then I read Ice Like Fire, Frost Like Night, and however the third book is called by Sarah Rash, all of which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I don't even remember what these books were about. I just remember they're YA fantasies. Then I read Baked Fresh by Annabeth Albert. It's a male romance which I actually DNF'd. Then I read By the Grace of Gods, Volume 1, written by Roy, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I tried to read Adulthood is a Myth by Sarah Anderson, but DNF'd it. Then I read The Dutch House by Anne Paquette, The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and Anxious People by Frederick Bachman, and also That Summer by Jennifer Weber. And then She's Gone, and also by Lisa Jewell. The book Woman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michelle Dixon. Distant by William Kent Corrigan, and The Huntress by Kate Quinn, all of which were like historical fiction, women's fiction, contemporary books that I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read the Nevernight trilogy by Jake Kristoff, in which we are following this girl who goes to school for assassins, if I remember correctly, and it was really fun. I gave all 3 books 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read 36 Venom by Penelope Douglas. This was, I think, my first or second book by the author, and I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It's a sapphic romance, I think. Then I read Spanish Love Deception by Elena Arms, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's a romance which became popular last year, and it's about a girl who needs to trick someone in having a boyfriend on their wedding in Spain. That's all I remember. Then I read first 3 volumes of Skyward by Joel Hansen, which is this comic book in which we live in like world where basically on Earth gravity just stopped working one day. Then I read The Song Rising, The Dawn Chorus, The Pale Dreamer, and The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon, which are all the books in the Bone Season series which I haven't yet read. And I actually really enjoyed all of them, gave them 4 out of 5 stars, and I also gave Skyward books 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read volumes 2 and 3 of Goldie Vans by Hope Larson. Then I read Dragonbane, Dragon Shadow, Dragon Stars, and Night of Demon King by Barbara Humbley, which are these books about dragons, all of which got 2 out of 5 stars. As I said, I don't like dragons. Then I read A Parable of the Sewer by Octavia E. Butler, which is about this woman who starts when they're under, I think, when there's a epidemic or pandemic, and she starts her own religion. Then I read Cursed by Frank Miller, which is King Arthur retelling title on Netflix TV show. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read The Kingdom of Apples and Thorns by Forrest K, which I also gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's a fantasy. And then I read Mina's Song by Hannah Khan, which is a male grade contemporary, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Him by L. Kennedy, again one of the first books of the author that I read, and I really enjoyed it, 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Frey by Melissa Wright, which is also YA fantasy, which got 4 out of 5 stars from me. Then I read Vanquished Queen by Lisbeth Campbell, which also got 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Citadel by Kay Something, which also got 4 out of 5 stars. The Lights of Prague by Nicole Jarvis, The Binding by Bridget Collins, The Contacts by Nicole Grover, The Undertakers by Nicole Grover, Curse of the Phoenix by Amy Center, Moonchild by Aisha Parshby, To Tell You the Truth by Beth Warble, Journey Across the Hidden Islands by Sarah Beth Durst, A Kingdom Rises by J.D. Reinhardt, 12 by Cindy Lynn, Treasures of the 12 by Cindy Lynn, The Fallen Queen by Katie O'Henry, The Myth-Witch School of Musicraft by Jessica Corey, Even and Dawn by Sarah Beth Durst, Division of Adeline Jones by Phil Hitchers, Strange Worlds Travel Agency by L.P. Lapetsky, The Edge of the Ocean by L.P. Lapinski, all books got 4 out of 5 stars. Some of them are YA and adult books, but most of them are middle grade books, middle grade contemporaries and fantasies. Then I reread Hidden Gems, Cardinal Sin's Candleland and Benny's Carnival by Lisa Casey, which are 3 books and a novella in Hidden Gems series, in which are following Aki, who has power to touch the object and see their history, which is very helpful to the police, and is his romance with one of the detectives he's helping. Then I read The Serpent's Curse, The Devil and the Devil's Thief by Lisa Maxwell, which are which got 4 out of 5 stars for me. Then I read Bring Me Their Hearts by Sarah Wolf, Monsters designed by Kate Dunn, and the Monsters designed by Kate Dunn, which are both fantasies, which got 4 out of 5 stars for me. Then I read On the Right Track by Lisa Casey, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It's a contemporary or rockstar romance, I think. And then I read Witch Wolf, Witch Minion and Witch Curse by Lisa Casey. So Witch Minion was a reread of a novella in the Kitsune Chronicles series, and Witch Wolf is a new novella following Toby, and Witch Curse is a new full-length novel also following Toby. I actually got them as ebooks, and I gave, of course, all of them 5 out of 5 stars. Then I read Reflection of the Curse, which is a new book in Heir to the Curse series by Lisa Casey, also gave 5 out of 5 stars. Then I DNF'd The Slave by Kat Aaron and The Soulmates by Solène Peterson. Then I read Heartstopper Volume 4 by Alice Oseman, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. In this, we are really diving in Charlie's mental health and eating disorder. Then I reread Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, which I gave 5 to 5 stars. In this one we are following a trans boy who wants to prove to his family and that he is a brujo. Then I read Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker and Wendy Su, which I gave 5 to 5 stars, which is a graphic novel in which we are following a witch and a werewolf, and it has lesbian representation. So our witch's character grandmas are lesbians, and our wolf character is non-binary. Then I read If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez and Cole Dersh, which is a male-male romance which I really enjoyed between a rock star and another boy, and it can get out because it may ruin the star's reputation. Then I reread Illumine by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, gave 5 out of 5 stars. It's here. This is the first book in Illumine Files. In this one we're following 2 teenagers, Ezra and Kelly, who lived on this space colony Karenza 4, which was destroyed, and they evacuated on spaceships, but one of them is damaged, and we're now they're trying to get away from the people who destroyed their colony. Then I reread Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Also I reread Thief by Alexa Riley, which is about Sean, who is tasked to rob a bank, and while surveilling it, he sees Tessa and falls in love with her. And it's a romance. Then we read, there is The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky by Mackenzie Lee, which is a novella in the Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue series. And in this one we're following Monty, and this series, in the first one I'm following Monty, who is just about to go on his grand tour with his best friend, who he may or may not be in love with, and his younger sister. And in this one we're seeing like how they got where they ended up in the first book, and how they from there to how they got to the beginning of the second one. Then I read Kingsby and Lightbringer by Clara Grant, which are two books in the series I don't remember. It's adult fantasy with dual timeline. Then I read Grave Mercy, Mortal Hearts, Dark Triumph, Counting Darkness, Igniting Darkness, all by Robin Lefebvre. All of them are fantasies that got 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Ivory by Atisha Rahman, Wicked Key by Becker Gray, Alien, which are both fantasies that got 4 out of 5 stars. And I read a sci-fi romance called The Aliens and Their Omega, which got 4 out of 5 stars. It was really interesting. Then I read Emotionally Charged by Selena E. Finish, which got 2 out of 5 stars. I didn't like it. Then I finished actually these 2 books on literally the last day. So the one is The Hero of Ages by Ben Sanderson, which is 3rd book in the Mistborn Era 1. It was really interesting, a really good conclusion. In this series we're following a guy named Kelsier, who is putting together a band of elements, which are these people who can ingest metals and get powers depending on which metal they can ingest. And one day he runs into Venom, who is like in a Mistborn, which means that she can ingest all the metals and get all of their powers. It looks better now. And they are trying to overthrow the final empire, which is this empire in which after a war the Dark Lord won. And the last book is Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb, which is currently her last book in the realm of the Elden Ring. And in this one I'm following Fitz, who at the beginning of the first series end up at the doorstep of the keep his maternal grandfather left him there for his father to raise him. But when his father, who was a crown prince, heard his bastard son is coming, he abdicates the throne and goes to live in the countryside, which leaves Fitz in a really unfortunate situation in which he is mostly raised by the stable master Boric, until a certain age when King decides he would be a great royal assassin. And I also reread Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. Down below you have my social media, my email and some other stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.